couple problems that we worked on today. If we have raising these powers just a little bit higher, as long as it's even and the one in the middle is half of it, we're going to factor like we normally would. No substitution required. We're just going to make it x cubed and x cubed. Factors 6 that add up to 5. So we're going to use -2 and -3. So those, no big deal. If we put a number in front of it, they're just going to factor by grouping using that same process. First substitution we end up in is number 6. Okay, so this is where we want u to replace x plus 1. So a little bit easier when we see it this way. So u squared plus 6u plus 5. So we're going to call it u plus 5 and u plus 1, as those are the only factors of 5. And then we just have to make sure we do our substitution back in. So x plus 1 goes in, and then plus 5. Again, we can change this into x plus 6. But today's focus is just knowing that I can take something that looks a little more complicated, make it look like something easier that we have done, and work with it that way. The substitution that's a little bit required is going to be starting at number 11. So 2, 9, and 18, nothing doing as far as the GCF. This one's a little bit tricky. We have to realize that 1/2 is actually 2 over 4. So that means u is going to be x to the 1/4 to make this a little bit easier. So I get 2u squared minus 9u and then minus 18. We want the factors of -36. Let's subtract to give us 9. So which ones are 9 apart? You guessed it, 12 and 3. So -12 plus 3. So 2u squared minus 12u plus 3u minus 18. GCF of each term, each pair, 2u. And we got u minus 6. We need u minus 6 again. Sign stays the same, so it must be plus 3. So 2u plus 3 and u minus 6. But again, don't forget to use the substitution back in. So 2x to the 1/4 plus 3 and x to the 1/4 minus 6 is the answer we're actually looking for. We said to stop here. This is just using both of those ideas, so we don't really need that. And then the cubes, pick what you need. If you are going to work with some of our later ones, this has a GCF, so 2, and now it gives me 27x cubed minus 1. So I just have to make sure as I work through the whole thing, this means I have 3x cubed and minus 1 cubed. So we can go with 2, 3x minus 1, remembering SOAP. So here's my same sign. Here's going to be the opposite, right, which is now plus and always positive on the end. The first term squared is 9x squared. We're going to multiply in the middle to get 3x. That's 1 times 3x, and on the end is 1. Okay, so we need all three parts. What I tried to touch base on with some of you, let me see if I can find one, is if your x term is negative. This is kind of backwards to the way we're thinking about it. 4 is also not a perfect cube. So I know there's a GCF going on here. So I'm hoping -4 will be my GCF. So if I do that, now I make it x squared minus, and if we divide by 4 here, we're going to be at 27, which works out beautifully. So this was using -4 as my GCF. It flips things around so that we know, that should be a cube, so we know how the signs are going to work. So I got -4. We're picturing x cubed and 3 cubed here. So I get x minus 3, x squared plus 3x plus 9 becomes our final answer. Okay, so we're going to use that GCF of as negative to help fix any of these backwards situations. Otherwise we have to write everything in reverse. Alright, so that's kind of a recap of today's lesson.